Hello and welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, joined by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett, and our very special guest, Amar. Did I say it right?
It was really, really, really close. But you know what, though? It was good, though. It was good. It was pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I was practicing in my head, and then I was going, Amar.
That's perfect. That was perfect. Yeah.
And I don't even know, what is that even from? I don't know.
It's a
Hi.
Good to see you, man.
Nice
We
to
get
see
ahead
you.
here. A little back scene stuff real fast for the listeners is that Don and I are like, "What's halftime? Let's just start. He'll get it when he gets here." And then Amar showed up like as the intro music was playing. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, this works." So let's just go with that. So anyhow, welcome.
Welcome. And so we're so glad you're with us this week. How are you doing? You didn't have the greatest week, I understand, but tell us about your week, because we want to hear everything.
Okay. All right. So it was a little crazy. We had some stuff going on in the family and things like that, right? And had a passing and stuff. And so we really dealing with that. And I took a lot of energy out of us. We had a lot of family in town. That's one thing that was maybe the silver lining out of everything, was that the response from everyone around, like the United States, Canada, that came through for the person that passed, and how he was a pillar of our family and stuff like that. And so, it was tough, and but we were able to persevere over it. And I think the biggest thing was that we could see a lot of that family that we hadn't seen, and catch up with them. It's for a crappy circumstance, but the silver lining was we got to see them again, and if not all of them left today. So they've been here since, like, when some came Saturday, some came Sunday. So it was pretty crazy. And but yeah, I mean, honestly, it was juggling that, and then it was like my wife's 40th birthday, like 2 days after everything happened. So that all got canceled, and then it was my daughter's like 5th birthday, and that was the same day as the funeral. So we had to like adjust that a little bit, and so we had to do it the day before, which she won't know anyways, right? But I had a lot of things planned, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to probably postpone it till next year, maybe sometime later on in the year. And so that kind of sucked, but we're here now, and just gotta like make the best of what we have in front of us, right? And so that's the biggest message I can take away from that, is that to see how much love and support he had, even though he wasn't here with us anymore, to have that kind of legacy to go on beyond you after you leave this world is pretty cool, right? And yes, I'm really hoping that I could have an impact like that on just one person's life, let alone the hundreds and hundreds of people that he had. So it's crazy. So yeah, so crazy week, but all in all, we had the family stuff. I was juggling that and trying to do fantasy football drafts, because you always do it like the week before, the week right before the game starts, to try and do all that. And yeah, so it was crazy. It was crazy. How was y'all's week?
Well, before we get into that, I just want to say real fast, I actually hadn't heard this until now. I was not up on the news, so I just want to say real fast, like my heart's with your family at this time, man. That's rough. I know that's never easy to deal with, that kind of thing, but I love that you're like, the good that comes out of it is seeing the love, seeing family, and I think that's a good attitude. You pair kind of the good with the crappiness. We can say that on here. Clean show, we can say crap, right? So
clean show, but crappy's okay.
I think
Thank you for telling me that. Thank you for telling me that.
I forgot.
By the way,
I could be a little bit of a sailor sometimes. I gotta be careful.
Not Don and me. No, of course not. So, so I'm sorry to hear it, but hearts with you, man.
Thank you. It's on my wife's side, so I'm not really giving too much detail. But
sure.
But it was like I said, it was crazy. But you definitely do appreciate who you have in your life, and the time that you have with them, right? So that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely. Don, how's your week then?
For sure. It's kind of been a blur. I'm just so excited that we have football tonight. I can't believe it.
Yes.
I've been counting down like all summer, and now it's here, and I'm like, there's just no way that I'm watching a football game. It was kind of surreal. So I wasn't able to watch much of the first half because I was kind of, like I said, scrambling. And yeah, so just a lot of extra stuff going on. Like, why can't there just be nothing to do for a minute, like a week or something? It never happens because then it's like,
No.
oh, you have to do
Yep.
this big thing, or
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, and then I struggle with, oh, I didn't do it right, so now I got to go fix everything. So
You rush it, right? You rush it, and you're like, oh man, like,
right,
I gotta go back and make
yeah,
sure that I did this right or did that right.
Mhm.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, you can definitely relate to that because, like, I'm going to Pittsburgh tomorrow for the weekend because the other part of our family is going to be in town for the Steelers Niners game in Pittsburgh,
Ooh.
and so I'm gonna be,
oh,
yeah. So they're all coming. They're all diehard Steelers Niners fans from California coming in. They all flying in tomorrow. So
right.
me and my brother-in-law, a couple cousins, are gonna drive up tomorrow and then be there for the weekend. So I'm still gonna catch the Packers game. I'm not gonna miss that because they play at 4, so I'll be okay, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it could be a good time. It's gonna be like you said. I have a lot of things I still need to do tonight. Still got to do tomorrow. So I completely feel you there.
It's
Packers on at 4, and they'll be on nationally where you live,
Yeah.
but not where Don lives. Unfortunately, Don is getting the short end of the stick this time around, as far as the broadcast map is concerned. But you and me,
Oh,
Amar, we get to see it on Fox on an actual
yes.
TV set. Very excited about that.
Yeah.
yeah. I can replay it though with my NFL whatever premium thing.
hmm
I think so, and I can listen on the radio, which I love to do anyway.
Yes.
So.
Do
Almost
you
as
listen with
fun.
Wayne, like Wayne and
Oh
Larry?
yes. Oh,
Nice.
absolutely.
Well, if you're gonna do
Absolutely.
it, that's the way to do it. You're right.
Every game, even if they're not totally on sync with what's going on, I mute the national broadcast. I just
Mhm.
I hear you on that.
some
Yeah.
of them. I mean, most of them. It's just so I listen to Wayne and Larry, and sometimes they're a little bit ahead, but it helps me because I'm such a novice at all of this. So I know what to look for then because they're saying what happened a couple seconds before it happens. So it
Mm.
doesn't spoil it for me, but a lot of people don't like that.
Oh, I'm with you on that. I'm literally refreshing like Twitter to see what Ryan or someone will say. Ryan will say, so I can
Mhm.
see what's gonna happen before it happens because I'm so like nervous and I'm telling you, like, if you saw my heart rate, it is like this for almost every single Packer game. I
Mhm.
am just, oh man, yeah, it's terrible.
Yes, it's really why are we so excited to be so upset about things? I don't know.
Yes.
It's weird.
It's like we're masochists, man. I don't know what we're doing to
Thrill-seeking.
ourselves.
It's exciting. It's
Yeah,
thrill-seeking. Yeah,
thrill-seeking.
we're living for the high, even though we have to like put up with the low. And I mean, again, we said this in the show a bunch of times in this last few months, but like for me, I think I'll be much more like steady watching the games this season because it's going to be, you know, we just want to see growth, and we don't expect to like not even really expecting in the playoffs. Like maybe that'd be great, cool, like it could happen, but I'm not expecting it to happen. Versus like I expect to win the Super Bowl. I say I as a team owner, of course.
Oh, of course.
So I can say that. People always think I'm weird and I say I, but no. So it's not that same like super high expectations, like unattainably high. That when it doesn't like live up to it on even like a minute to minute basis in a game, where I was feeling so much anxiety watching games, the last many years. This year, it's gravy. It's fun.
Right. I agree. Okay, so something just happened to my I don't know if you saw my face, but something just happened. So I'm like trying to get my document back up. I was like, what just happened? I have a faulty mouse. Okay, I got through it.
No,
Faulty mouse.
It's like full screen, and then I can't see anything else, and I don't know how to get out of full screen.
I know exactly what you're talking about. If you move it in a way to where like it has everything kind of displayed out, right? Like individually, and then it minimizes it to maximum. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm just like Windows is just really trying to piss me off. Like it's always like something like that. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here with my mouth open because I think it has to do with my mouse. It's an old mouse, so I'll just use my fingers.
There you go.
Sorry about that. If anyone is watching, that's why I was like, because I could hear you and I couldn't see you. So I'm glad you decided to come on. I guess Matt did. I forgot. I didn't fill Matt in on our conversation. It's been a week. I'm sorry, Matt. But so he wasn't aware. And then I asked Amar.
Perfect.
Amar.
There it is. There it is.
Okay. Thank you. If he would like to have another date on our show, if it was just too much this week. And what did you say? How did you?
I was like, no, I need this. I need this.
Aw.
It's a good way to like,
Hugs.
because I've been wanting. I mean, I listen to your guys' podcasts all the time,
Aw.
and I enjoy like hearing about just the personal side of you guys, and then on top of that too, the football and just everything that you guys, the way you kind of go, where you encompass everything, but then it doesn't feel like you're just talking about football, but that's what you're normally focusing on, right?
Mhm.
And then like
Yeah.
hearing about like your ailments when it comes to like your back and your neck and things like that. And I'm struggling with like sciatica, so I know exactly. I can relate, you know what I'm saying? And, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not completely, but I can definitely empathize a little bit. And no, so I was like, no, I need to do this. I really want to. And the whole thing for me too is like I think all of us are just trying to do something that we enjoy doing, right? And talking
Mhm.
about football, talking about Packers, and meeting new people. I mean, those are all like it's like a perfect storm, right? And to get your just to get your face and your voice out there is amazing. I just love the fact that you guys have a platform that allows people to do that, and that you're giving other people that are just like, I mean, I keep being called a Packer whatever, and I'm just like, hey man, I'm just trying to make it like everybody else, you know. I just know I have an opinion and I want it to be heard, and I try to be as nice as possible. But some people do, you know, awaken the dragon, I guess you could say. But for the most part, I keep it
Yeah.
pretty chill. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, I was like, I had to do this. I was like, I told my wife, I was like, hey, at 9:30, and I'm watching the halftime game, like right before halftime. She's like, don't you guys want to go at 9:30? I completely ignored her. And I was like, look at the game. And I was like, huh? I didn't even say, huh, what, nothing. And then she's like, what the hell? He's going to ignore me? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I screwed up. Turn the TV off. Then I was like, you're right. Oh, no, I'm good. We're waiting till the game's over, the halftime, and then we'll start up. And they're like, oh, then she's like, whatever. And I'm like, all right, fine. So she tolerates football for me, but she's not obviously a fan like me. So, yeah.
Yep. Same in my
Okay.
house for sure. But I just want to say thanks for those kind words, Amar. That's awesome, and glad that you have enjoyed our show. Really appreciate that. And you know, I understand that you're gonna have a chance to have a little bit of a platform this season too. Am I right about this?
I think so. Me and Todd have been talking about something like that on Game On Wisconsin, and really doing like recaps of the games after the games, like an hour after the game. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm telling you guys, like I live, breathe, crap football. Like it's just everything. Like I mean, I'm 365 football all the time when it comes to
Mhm.
not just our team but all the teams. You know,
Mhm.
I'm like in like 13 fantasy leagues. I don't know what I'm doing to myself. It's terrible. And yeah, no, so I can't wait for that. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I just the banter, like just having those like
Yeah.
that back and forth with everybody. It's so cool, man. I enjoy that.
So it'll be like going live on YouTube to do that, or like what's the format going to be?
I have no clue. I think we're still working out the details on that.
Okay.
And so it's funny too because that Sunday after the game, I have a pretty good idea that I'm not going to be in the most like clear state of mind because I'm going to a tailgate in Pittsburgh that starts at like 9 a.m.
Mm.
and they serve everything, and I'm thinking like, okay, so I have to somehow like make it to the Packers game, survive the Packers game with my heart not exploding, and then an hour later go back to the hotel and then try to record something with Todd and the crew. And I'm like, okay, oof, it's gonna be a long day.
Yeah.
But I can't wait though.
Well, I'm excited for that. I just caught a little wind of it yesterday, and so I'm like, ooh, some post game stuff with Amar. That's gonna be amazing. So I'm very excited about that, man.
I
I
think
am
it's a
too. I can't wait.
yeah, I think it's a good space. Like, there's a need for that. Especially if it's going to be live. Obviously, it would probably be live if it's post game, you know, because why do it the next
They
day?
pre-record it.
Right.
Yeah. Like you want everyone to have those emotions and feelings, right? And you want
Yeah.
to, and that's
Yeah.
when it's really raw and fresh. And I'm
Mhm.
like you. I think I'm both y'all. Like where this year the expectations. Like you guys see. I've seen where I post. I'm saying we're going 13-4 because I'm just the optimist, I guess. I don't know, but
It could happen.
it could happen. You look at our schedule; it's not too tough,
Mhm.
right?
Schedule's
But
pretty good.
what I think is like this, every year for the last 15, 16, 17 years, we've always had this expectation because of who we had quarterback, right?
Yep.
And I think like last year definitely was like that. I don't know, like it kind of made me feel prepared for this next year, if that makes sense, right? Because
Yeah.
it was such an up and down season. We lost so many games that we definitely should have won. And I'm thinking like, man, like so this year I have no expectations. you guys know how much I hate Joe Barry. So I just want to just hope to God that he can, like, when he was talking today, I just wanted to like punch him through the screen. Like I just was like, oh my God, like why? I was like, why is he up there? Like Evero could be our defensive coordinator right now.
Can you
So
imagine?
could you imagine? Oh my God, don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Get me started.
Mistakes were made.
So yeah, I can't wait. Honestly, I just want to see what our team looks like. You know how everyone's like, oh, the Matt LaFleur offense, and LaFleur always plays it down like, oh no, we've been running my offense. And we're like, all right, dog, stop lying. We know you haven't been. And I can't wait to see what he puts out there. And I just really think that we're going to see what Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, and Emmanuel Wilson, we're going to see those three a lot. I hope to God we see those three a lot.
Yep.
And make just Jordan's life easy. That's it.
Especially this week without Christian Watson in the game, which
Yeah.
that's, well, I mean, he might be, we can't really like curse that yet, but
Right.
I was thinking before about like, you know, I was talking about I'm all chill with like the season. That said, you know, I had forgotten that feeling of seeing the injury report where like a really important player is on that anxiety spike that happens. Doesn't that happen this week when that came out? I was like, no, oh my God. Whoa, okay, take a breath, Matt.
But Matt, Don, you both saw it, right? Where like all off season, Watson has been literally every practice, everything. He's been out there. He's been looking good, looking fast, looking spry. Our first week before the Bears, and he's not practicing. I'm like, you got to shoot me in the head now. I don't know, just this is ridiculous. And I'm not mad at him, obviously, in no way. It's not his fault, but it's like, oh, like why can't we just? That was our problem last year, that we had a hard time getting these guys on the field at the same time, right?
Yep.
But that just means that we hopefully get a chance to see Malik Heath out there and just really just take the underdog story to a whole nother level. Could you imagine, though, if he just comes out like gangbusters against the Bears? Oh, my God.
That'd be so cool.
I'm gonna be so insufferable. I'm telling you. I'm going to be so bad. I have literally receipts. And I have like EJ and I will all those Bear accounts. Oh, I'm ready. I'm so ready to unload, man. I have like a very vulgar message from like, do you remember when we played the Chargers and Rivers was still there and we beat them and it was like an overtime game? It's like, this is like maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
I sent a video to all my boys. They kept talking trash the whole game. And it's a very vulgar video, so I'm not going to say it here, but I'll send it to you guys so you can see it. All right. That's all I'm going to be playing at 7:30 to like Monday the next day on my Twitter. Just I'm going to be tagging them and saying it. I'm going to do enough to where they have to block me or something. I'm just like, yep, I can't wait. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
I am emotionally prepared for anything. Anything.
That's healthy.
I'm trying to be healthy.
That's the mature way of doing it.
Yes.
I'm not there yet.
I think I am. We'll see what really happens on Sunday, but I've been trying to really temper myself all the off season, and I'm just really excited because I had high expectations the last few years, and they were dashed in the most unpleasant fashion. And
yep.
I think this year it's like they might be dashed, but it's not going to be like that. Like it's a new team, it's a young team. There are reasons for my hopes to be dashed. There is no excuse for the last 3 years. So, in that sense, I'm ready. I've readied myself.
Isn't it funny to think about it? The second you said that, I know all three of us literally relived 2011, 2014, 2016, 2019, 2020, 2021, all of it in a matter of like 4 seconds. We all had that go through our heads.
How dare you say 2014 on this podcast, Amar? How dare you?
Okay, I'm telling you, oh my gosh, I was in Dallas and I was watching the game at Kung Fu Panda bar, which was like a really cool bar, right? It's like a video game bar.
Okay, sounds awesome.
And everyone is there, and there's one Seattle Seahawks fan, okay? And the whole game, we're dominating, right? But you can just tell it just didn't feel right. And then every time they started making plays, he just kept looking back at and being like, and I'm just thinking like, whatever, dog, we're winning, right? And then we lost. I had so many random people that I've never met in my entire life. I didn't even talk to. They were just buying me shots because they felt so bad, right? I was walking through the streets of Dallas. I'm surprised the police didn't arrest me because I was screaming at the top of my voice just like raging like the Hulk and Avengers 1. It was ridiculous. I tried to pull a tree out of the ground. I did. I just don't know what I had knots in my stomach. I was in pain. I think I may have even cried in the shower when I got back. I think I may have actually cried.
Oh.
I think we all had that pain, right? And
it was hard. It was hard.
Oh God, it's sad though. Ever since then, I've been like, every time we lose, I'm just like, eh. I'm still pissed, but I feel like that was the one that really just took my heart out my chest. And
it took a piece of you that you'll never get
Yes.
back. You'll never get that back.
Nope.
You'll never feel pain in that way again.
That's right.
Which is good and bad.
Part of you is dead, and it can't experience that pain again. So it was such a traumatic event for the fan base that people like came to Packers.com to Vic Ketchman to say like, we need help processing this. He's like, let's start a mailbag, and that was like the Ask Vic mailbag that started then, and then is now the insider inbox that that Mike and Wes trade off on alternate day to day. That all started because people were like, what just happened? We need to process this. And and so this is like we were talking before with like grief, and something good comes out of it, if it's not too brazen to put it that way.
No, you're right.
The insider inbox is an amazing thing. I read it most days. I think a lot of people do, and that may not have started if not for this very traumatic event for fans. And I know comparing that kind of thing to like actual real life grief, I know it's a very different thing.
It's not the same, obviously, but in the same way, like it impacts you, right? Like it impacts you in a very severe way, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
It really does.
And the Vic Ketchman, man, that's a blast from the past, man. I used to read that guy's. I used to read this stuff all the time. Corey Benke like despises him, and I was laughing so hard yesterday on transplants. I was like, dang, I had no idea. Actually, I knew from previous ones, but like, oh my gosh, and I do remember like I always whenever I read his stuff, it always had a little bit of a Jacksonville tip to it. Yeah, I always think, and I was like always, and then when he left, and then when Wes and Mike did, I'm like, okay, this feels more like home to me now.
Yeah, right? It's much more like button down Packers, sort of like philosophy sort of thing, with their sort of conservative.
And you knew they're fans. Like you knew deep down they were actually fans of the team. Ketchman wasn't a fan of the team. I mean, he's not supposed to be, right? But yeah. Oh man.
What a catcher, man! He was so cynical and so salty and so funny. I loved reading his stuff.
He's like an old crotchety man. That's how I looked at him. Really much so. Yeah.
Major curmudgeon. Absolutely.
Yes, curmudgeon. That's the word. Yes, that is exactly it. But Don's so right, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like a part of me did die that day.
Yeah. Yes.
It was so bad.
I mean, and to the point where like you said, of course, the context you're talking about 2014, like we're thinking about it, but even then, just when people talk about that year, that's what clicks for me. It's like, 2014.
Yep.
Damn it.
You just see. I don't know, I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not gonna do it.
You just relive it.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm doing it right now. It's just bringing back memories.
So let's move on to a happier subject.
Let's do it. I would like us to change, please.
Well, Matt and I went live after one game. It was kind of spontaneous. It was beyond our podcast. It was just an extra. Mm-hmm. And then we were planning to on another game that we lost, which we shouldn't have. And I think that that was last season, or was that Tuesday? It would have been last season. And we were both so devastated that maybe we should go live after those big games where there's heartbreak and grief, because
it's raw
instead of suffering on our own. Yeah, yes. There's a place for it.
Well, after we lost to the 49ers in the championship game 2 seasons ago, Don and I were planning to go live after that, and I have some people come in, and we got on. We're like, we are too devastated to actually broadcast. So we're just gonna talk, and then we
talked it out.
I'll leave the anonymity for this person. We had one of our friends come in, and we just kind of all processed together, and it was a good thing. It was definitely needed in that moment.
That
was a rough one.
Oh God, is that the divisional game? It was a divisional game, right? No,
the one against I think it was a championship game, wasn't it? With the 49ers, and it was like a very low-scoring game.
No.
With the block punt and.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 2021, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then we also, and we had when we beat the 49ers, which we should have, and we did. We were really happy, and we went live. But that one was just. Was that 21? I guess so. 21, 22.
Yeah,
By the
something like that,
way,
yeah.
this is our third season
That's
at
right.
Hey, We Like Your Pod. Now, thinking about dates, episode 1, season 3 of Hey, We Like Your Pod. We're still here. We're
I
still
love it.
alive. Here we go.
We should have led with that, Don. I forgot to
I
mention that early on.
forgot.
Yeah. Hey, everyone.
I
Third
forgot.
season. Welcome.
I
Yay.
love that. That's awesome,
I was
man.
going to, I had it all planned out in my head. I didn't write anything down today. So everything's in my head, which is a scary place to be. Things get lost.
There's a quote from Mike Tyson, and I can't say it because it's very crazy. But at one point, he's like, "You couldn't live 2 minutes in my world." When you said that, that's where my brain went. I was like, "Yeah, I think we all had those parts of our brain that people just wouldn't get it, just won't get it."
Well, okay, yeah, let's get rolling. So,
Yeah.
Amar, I want to call you Amar.
In my
Everyone
head, you've
does.
been
And
Amar for
it's
years.
my fault too. That's my fault too, though, because I told people to say that, and
Oh.
then what happened was I did it because it was easier at the time for people to pronunciate Amar, right?
Mhm.
And like my wife, all my Indian family, everyone's like, "Dude, your name is Amar. It's not Amar." I'm like, "I know, but how the hell do I get them to say it?" Because the way I was like, I would tell them to say it's like Hummer without the H, and then people would make a real off-color joke about
Yep,
that.
of course.
I didn't want that. That didn't work. Then someone said, "Say summer without the S," and I'm like, "Oh, Hummer. Wow, perfect." Now that's what I go with. So that's what I did. So yeah. So
Maybe I should just call you Summer for a while, and then it'll, if that's okay, and then it'll start coming out right.
whatever works for you.
I
works
always
for me.
thought it was Amar. Yeah. So you're Indian, and
Yes.
Amar. And what is the name? What does your name mean, Amar?
Okay, so in like Indian lore, it means immortal. Like it means eternal, right? That's like that was like the reason why my mom named me that. And then like in Pakistani, like lore is kind of like the moon, right? And then I think like amor, not amar, is like love in Spanish. So it's a very multiverse word throughout
Right.
different cultures. Yeah.
Right. It is. It is. That's why I was wondering, because Amar in Pakistani or Arabic, right?
Yes.
Is it also in Arabic eternal? Does it mean immortal?
I think it might. I have to talk to my friend about that. Because he told me something. He said it was the moon. So
The
I was
moon.
just
Oh, okay, I'll look it
Yeah.
up. It could be.
Yeah.
It could be. All right.
Yeah. So
Okay. Amr. I'll
There
do
we
the
go.
little Amr.
There it is.
I'm
There it
so
is.
bad.
You got it.
I don't know. Amar is just it's stuck in my head.
it's
Okay.
like,
And
yeah,
so,
that's what it is.
and is Deisel your last name?
No. I just.
I
that's a
didn't think
very-
so.
No. So the story behind that is, growing up, I was always tall. I'm like 6'3", but I was really, really, really skinny. And so I went to an all boys Catholic high school in Louisiana for like a few years, and they couldn't say Design. That's my last name, right? And so the joke was, Amar Deisel, because I wasn't Diesel. I was literally 6'3", 135 pounds soaking wet, And so this was like an ongoing joke. Problem is now, fast forward, I'm 40 something years old, and I'm a lot bigger now than I was then. I invested time in the gym and things like that to kind of fix that to where that moniker actually is applicable when it wasn't previously. So
Right.
easy way to do it. Yeah.
You worked your way into the name.
I
There it
did.
is.
I
Yep.
did. Yeah.
Self-fulfilling prophecy there. That name.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
manifested it, man. You put it on the
I
world
really did.
by
Yeah.
embracing the nickname. Yep, that's what it is. That's what it is.
I like it. I like it. Okay, so what we like to do is we like to start with your Twitto, Amar Deisel at Amar, 3550
It's all good. It's all good.
Best to just spell it out, maybe.
AMAR 3455. There we go. Tweets
Perfect.
are my own. Diehard Packers fan. Yay, go Pack Go. Life is short. Live, laugh, and love. So, our first and most important question is, oh, I forgot to write it down. Our first and most important question is, okay, where do you live? Are you not in Wisconsin, are you?
No,
How
so
did you become a Packer fan?
I was born in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Oh.
So yeah, so I was born in Green Bay. My dad is an environmental engineer by trade, so his job was there. So I was born in Green Bay. I was in Brown County, Belen Hospital, and
Aw.
So I was like 4 or 5 years old, about four, and then we moved away. And then we were in North Carolina for like a year. My dad worked for the government at that point, so he kind of moved around a little bit. Then we ended up in Northern Virginia, and so we stayed here for a very long time until I want to say eighth grade, and then his job moved down to Louisiana because he became like an oil rig inspector in a sense for the government for Department of Interior. So we were there, and that's where the whole Catholic school experience
Yeah.
came from. And then, parents split up, and then I came back here. My mom came back here, and I kind of just stayed with them. So
Wow.
now I'm in Northern Virginia. I was born in Green Bay. I actually have a copy of my birth certificate. So when people accuse me of not actually being from Green Bay, I have it just in case. And I also had a nickname in high school, Bombay. And the reason why it was Bombay was because when I told people I was born in Green Bay, they said, "No, you were born in Bombay." So you could just see the many microaggressions I've gone through my life
Right.
where I just
Yep.
kind of laugh it off, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's cool though. It's like he is a close friend of mine, so it's all good. And now actually my Hotmail email is still Bombay45. So
Embrace it. That's right. Embrace your microaggression. That's fine.
you got to flip it on its head a little bit, right? So
That's
how it
right.
became. So I've been a Packer fan since the day I was born, and will remain that way forever.
So, like, what's your earliest Packers related memory?
It was Magic Man against Cincinnati. And I don't know why I know that.
Okay.
I was a little kid watching the game in my parents' bedroom on their like old school like box TV. And I just remember him stepping back and then getting hurt. And I don't remember much of the like Favre coming in because that was like so many years ago, right? I mean, I was like in what was that, late 80s, early 90s. And yeah, so I was like maybe like 10 years old, maybe at that point, give or take. And so that's like my most like that, and I really barely remember Lynn Dickey. I don't know why, but I just remember him just a little bit. And so that was like my probably my most like earliest fondest memory of the Packers.
That's beautiful.
That's
But
nice.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's beautiful, but I don't know what you're talking about. Don, that's perfect.
So who's Matt?
Huh?
Did you say?
Oh, I said Magic Man. So
Magic
Don
Man.
Majkowski.
Okay.
Yeah, Don Majkowski.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So he went down in Favre field, and Favre was QB2. Okay.
Yep.
And then is that when Favre? My cat is like staring at me right now. It's really weird. Is that when Favre became QB1 after that?
Yes.
Or did it take some time? Okay.
No, I think once he got in, he never gave the job up. I think his first pass was a pick. I don't like. There's always like the legacy behind like his first game is a Green Bay Packer, right? And like he caught his own pass. All kinds of crazy stuff happened. Hence why like Rodgers did, I think. And no, did Rodgers have that? I think Rodgers may have had that, but I know Love just did it recently.
Love did it. Yep.
And so it was like, oh well, that means he's kind of like he's taking his step into greatness because he's doing the same thing Favre did, right? So that was like kind of like when I first started, and I became a diehard football fan because I used to wear like football clothes, right? And people would always be like, "Oh, who's that player on your shirt?" And I wouldn't know, and so then they would make fun of me. So then I made a point to not only learn my team, but then learn everybody else's team. And then it became a little bit slightly obsessive at that point, and so. And here I am now.
Still being slightly obsessive.
We're all better off for it.
Yeah,
Yes.
now I'm embracing my obsessiveness, so it's okay.
That's right.
My wife hates it, but I told her, hey, if I can make something of this one day, you'll be happy. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Right.
I watch as many games as I can. I don't retain any information. I don't know. My head's just not built for that, but I take it in at least.
Yeah.
I will watch every game. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I can't watch football all day like that," or I'm not interested in those teams. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm just since I fell in love with football, it's like I fell in love with all football.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I couldn't agree with you more. Like I find the perfect Sunday is sitting in front of the TV watching Red Zone. Because I'm able to figure out what's going on with my fantasy football players, as well as I can just see all these great teams. And then, of course, if the Packers come on, I'll watch that through and through, and then when they do replays on NFL Network, I'll watch those as well too, right? So I can get an idea about like what I may have missed during the red zone, red zone stuff. So I'm with you. And then people, like, some people just don't get it. They're like, "How do you do that?" I was like, "How do you not do that?
How do you not do that?" Exactly.
I was like, "Come on now, are you crazy?" So yeah, no.
I had a super intense, like super active and busy life, and then I had, my health things just like stopped me in my tracks. And people used to tell me, the closest people to me used to say, you really need to learn how to relax. And I was like, relax? I never relaxed, right? And now
Nope.
I have to, and it's like, so it's the perfect excuse to just it keeps me interested in something, but not bored, and I'm relaxing,
Yeah.
Except when it's the Packers, I don't know how relaxing. It's pretty intense.
It's different.
But when I'm watching the other games, it's relaxing.
Yeah. It's like therapeutic. It's therapeutic, right? I completely get that, and I'm with you. The Packers thing is like, I expect perfection every play. I get mad when things go wrong, or I see like mistakes, and then at the game's over. Now I'm happy that we won or lost. I'm happy we won. If we lost, I'm really annoyed, and I'm now trying to see who got hurt, why did we lose, and then how do we look for next week? It's terrible. Like, it's like,
no, right there with you.
Right, you think you're working for the team, and you're not.
Yeah. Exactly.
We talked before in the show about how, like, part of what drives me to consume so much content is it's like I want to try to divine what's going to happen in the next game. So like the more tea leaves I can read, the more information I can take in, the better I can feel about what's going to happen and know what to be ready for and stuff like that, which in the end you're never going to really know till the game actually starts, any given Sunday, blah blah blah. But ultimately, it also means like listening to a lot of great content throughout the week, which is just a beautiful thing. I do want to take a quick second, you guys, to just shout out our friends in the chat, if you don't mind. Quick hello to our pal Lorenzo Anderson. Hey, Lorenzo, good to see you, man. Pappy is up in the chats. I love when Pappy's here. And mentioned that he loves what you just said, John, but I have no idea what you're talking about. And of course, our good friend Aaron Alice is stopping by, so it's good to see
that's my girl.
For being
here.
That's
my home girl. That's my home
I know,
girl.
right?
I love Aaron.
She's best.
There's nothing she doesn't post that I don't laugh, because I always know there's some kind of connotation behind it. And I'm just like, I always gotta be like, girl, stop. But I don't want her to stop. I want her to keep going because it's funny as hell every time.
Stop.
So since we're recording live on Thursday Night Footballs during the second half during the season, I can't believe I'm saying this. So how's the game going? And do you want the Lions to win, or do you care if the Chiefs win? Because I want the Lions to win.
What?
Yeah, I do.
I know. What?
Matt doesn't like that, but
no, I don't like you either. I'm sorry.
Disapprove.
Don, you're great, but that's the one thing I can't get with you. I'm sorry.
Well, because I don't feel like they're a real threat.
You can call me Amar now. I
want to see them beat Mahomes. I'm just sick of hearing about St. Patrick Mahomes. That's all.
I just don't want. See, you know what? It's funny when you say that, because like, I get it. You want the underdog to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like how like people are like, "Oh, I want Rodgers to do well in the Jets," and I'm like, "Yeah, he can do well in the Jets in 2024." I need 65%, and I need 0 to 17.
Yep.
I need that first round pick all the way up, right? And
I don't want Rodgers to do well with the Jets. I didn't say that. I just
no. But I'm with you. I don't either. Not this year. I don't. No way. But let's take the same thing with Lions are great and all, but at the end of the day, they're in our division. I don't want anything getting in the way of us winning the division again. That's how I look at it. That's me. Yeah.
I hear you. I feel that way because my cat is being really weird right now. Maybe I just feel like that because they haven't been a threat in the past. Maybe I'm being too.
Exactly. Not like because it's like for so long they've been like the little brother, and they're kind of like they're cute and scrappy and whatever. But like now they're actually a threat, and
I know.
Many national pundits, if not most, including like all the Vegas betting lines, are saying that the Lions are going to take the division. So now at this point, screw that. That's in the past.
Okay.
I want to see them lose.
Look, it's so funny you say that because all offseason I've been hearing nothing but Bears fans chirping, right? and some Vikings fans. But the Lions have been like, that's why I love Lions fans.
Yeah.
They're not too high, not too low. They don't
Right.
come out of left. They don't come out of right field talking trash, and they had every right to like just eviscerate us because they've swept us last year
Right.
pretty badly, and they haven't been saying nothing. And I'm like, you make it hard for me to hate you because you're so damn nice. It's like, how do I do that? Like, how do I do that? I don't know. So I feel you guys. Like, I love Mahomes, but I can definitely understand why we'd want to see him lose too, because he just gets sick and tired of hearing it all the time, right? But he's such a good dude. He's such a nice guy. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
And he's fun to watch. I mean, as much as I want to be like, you know, how people would be like tired of Brady, for example, for some kind of thing. He's so fun to watch. Like their first touchdown tonight, the way he threw it down was just a little bit of touch, went straight to the guy, like I'm just a fun little rope right to him. I was like, man, that dude's good.
Yeah, he's good.
And then he in the second half he threw a pick six to Brian Branch. So that's
I saw
the
it.
thing, but that's
the highlight came up, and I'm just like, we could have had it.
Ooh.
Of all the people.
Just no. I love our draft class, but I'm just saying sometimes I look at Goody and I'm like, dude, what are you doing, bro? Just what are you doing, man? Like he's been kicking ass the last couple of years.
Yeah. You can't address all the things every offseason. I mean, I think it's just have to keep telling myself that, like, yeah, our safety room, not wonderful. Yep. It's a building year, anyhow. It's a growing year, not rebuilding. It's a growing year. So
yeah, was that retooling? Semantics on like
steroids.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why people are afraid of the word rebuilding. Is that Rodgers leftover stuff, or I don't know.
What? I think it's because
I don't
comes
mind.
with it. You know what it comes with it, right? I think like because I've gotten into it, Jason Wilde on Twitter, like to the point where he's messaged me on the side, like, really, dude? And I'm like, bro, like, I was like, you're so negative. What do you want me to do? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I understand you're reporting the news, but when you're adding a negative connotation to it, that's not being subject. You're not being like neutral anymore, right? And so, like, when it comes to that, you're just, I don't know. It just feels weird about the whole thing, you know? And I can never get with the like whole like, oh, because we're rebuilding, we're a bad team, and that's not the case at all. Right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's what rebuilding means. Like your building has been demolished, and you have to
from
start
the ground up, right?
Exactly, and that's not where we're at. It's just because the defense is the same people. Hopefully, they play different.
We're renovating.
Different.
Renovating. Yes,
we're renovating.
We have a house. It's
we have a
building.
We have a structure. We're upgrading a little bit. That's all it is.
I like that. I like that word. I can get into that. Okay, so we have talked about how you became a Packer fan. I love that you're Indian and you went to a Catholic school in Oklahoma. That's kind of like an interesting track.
So it's funny. Like I was born like Hindu, right?
Yeah.
And so, Louisiana, which makes it. I gotta make sure we're the Bible Belt, So
right.
So that was a very fun, interesting situation where I was the only Indian kid in the whole school. Yeah, I was the only Indian kid. I was like maybe one of like maybe five. No, there's like about maybe 15 minorities. And mind you, this is the school that has 8th grade through senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a very, very like specific demographic, right? So yeah, I stuck out like a sore thumb. I'm in religion class. I'm being told that I'm going to hell because my religion is fake. All kinds of crazy stuff, right? Like, yeah.
From the kid, and hopefully not from the teachers.
No, from the teachers. That 8th grade teacher was not Mr.
I would think. Yeah.
Robinox. That guy was no joke. Yeah, he was crazy. Yeah. So, but still, you know what you're getting yourself into. Like the thing was down in Medry, Louisiana. The public schooling system wasn't always the greatest, and my parents just felt more comfortable putting me in a Catholic school because it was technically safer, right? But like, yeah, it might have been safer in one way, but then you have to deal with other things, when it comes to like just entitledness and the ignorance of certain people, But all in all, it was a great experience. I learned a lot. You definitely toughen up as best you can in those situations, right? And it was a fun experience.
Well, thank you for letting me elaborate on that because I just find that fascinating and interesting. Wow. I can't even imagine what that would feel like.
Oh, it was.
It'd be really.
I had a I had a bully in one of my classes. He would say a religion class, and the teacher was really cool. Okay, the teacher was awesome. This one, but they would, hey, does anybody have any special attentions for before we start class? And this guy, every time I'd be like, looking at me, he's like, I would like to say special attentions to the camels in India, right? And it was just like an ongoing thing with him every single time, right? And then I got him back one day, where he was partying with his friends over the weekend, and he's like, "Hey guys, I got a fart," and then he proceeded to go poo poo in his pants. Okay, so I found out Monday. So then on Tuesday, I'm at the store with my dad, and I'm like, "Hey, I need a pack of diapers." And he's like, "What are you telling me right now?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, definitely not the case. Back then, no." I have pictures, so I can show you what I'm talking about. It looked like an Indian Harry Potter. It was terrible. And so like, so I took the diapers to our first home class together, and I was like, I heard you had a hard time keeping your crap, and maybe this will help you out. And yeah, I got detention for that. Almost suspended. I was just kind of like,
Worth
"Oh,
it.
it's okay." I was like, "It's worth it." I was like, "You can
It was worth
apologize."
it.
I'm like, "No." I was like, "I'm not apologizing. I'll take the punishment." I was like, this guy's talking about like being like basically racially insensitive every freaking day.
Right.
Y'all don't care about that, but I should
Right.
care about me like throwing
Right.
diapers at him. Like whatever, dog. So,
Right.
no, it's made me more. I guess you would say like just more disrespectful of everybody, right? Because I know how it feels to be on the receiving end of some shit like that. Sorry, some stuff like that, and you don't want to ever make someone feel bad because of just where they're from, what they look like, what their sexual orientations, whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
You don't want anyone to ever feel lower than what they are because of that. That's just BS, man. Like you should do it because of who they are, not because of any of the other stuff. Like like who they are in their core, like their actions or their words or stuff like that, not because of what they look like, whatever. That's just stupid to me.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Sorry, I
Thank
got
you.
on my soapbox there for a second.
No,
man.
I asked. I am just so
For real,
glad I
though.
asked. I'm so
Mhm.
glad I asked because we like we really love getting to know people here on our show. And it's just, if we don't ask, we won't know. So I like that
That's
you
true.
shared that. Yeah. So let's see, where was I? You started to shout out your wife. I was one of the questions we love to ask our guests is who in your life supports you the most so that you can do what you do for the Packers Twitter community or online community. And it sounds like you're going to even be doing more with your own show. So this is your chance to tell us about who supports you.
Man, all my wife is number one. Even though she does it begrudgingly, she definitely is. She definitely will bite the bullet and let me like take time now to do this, right? Where I could be downstairs watching a show with her, spending time with her, right? Or like if I gotta go do this, can you watch the kids or whatever? She'll do it. Like I said, she's probably not happy about it, but she'll do it, right? Because she knows that this is what I love to do, and that she knows that it's like my passion, right? Talking about football and getting my name out there. And then of course all my friends are my family more than like my wife's family is my family. I'm not gonna lie, I love
Yeah.
them to death, and
Yeah.
I adore them, and they adore me. With my own personal family, I have some that are still in it, but for the most part, a lot of them just kind of do their own thing. And my friends are my family, and they have been nothing but supportive. Just like, hey man, you know what you should really take this and run with it, right? And I was like, I guess it's just doing it. I love the fact of what you guys have been doing. You guys have been doing it for 3 years now, And I literally just came onto your podcast I came onto it, like heard about it. Like, I want to say maybe about a year ago, and I'm just like, wow, I've been missing out on this for how long now? Like, what the heck? What the hell have I been doing? Um, and I could have swore like back in the day, Don might have followed me, but it was between like 15 freaking bots. So I saw it and I was like, oh, I don't know who this is, right? And then later on, I found out who Don was. So I went, and then you like unfollowed me, and I was like, okay, maybe the bot got caught, right? And then I saw that no, she's an actual real person, and I was like, I gotta follow her back. I followed you back, and you're probably like, nah, dog, I followed you once, you didn't follow me back. And I was like, and then I was like, maybe like I want to say like a month or two ago, you followed me back, and I was like, yes. It was like when Nager followed me back. It was on that level. I felt so happy. I was like, okay, good. She knows that. I was like, she's in my corner, I'm in her corner. I was like, that's perfect.
Love that.
But no, I just love what you guys have been doing. Like, I mean, just every like game on Wisconsin, all of that stuff is just people just getting together, talking about football, and just enjoying it. Like, what that is so cool to me. And
Yeah,
like, yeah, you can make some money off it or get successful. That'd be great. But at the end of the day, it's just just kind of pushing, following your dreams. And we all know that we all listen to people every single day that talk about football. Some are really, really good at what they do,
yeah,
and some are not really good at what they do,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And we have to really filter through a lot of that. And I feel like all of us, with what we talk about and what we bring, man, like I feel like we could really put a lot of those people out of business because we actually know what we're talking about in comparison to some people, man.
yeah. Packers fans know what they were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't pay a lot of attention to follows and follows back, and I swear Twitter unfollows people and
Yes,
block
it
like
does.
does yeah, and they
Yep.
like there are people muted. It's like I'll be commenting and it'll be like, this is
Hmm.
from an account that's muted. And it's like, what are you even talking about?
When
And
did
then
I
for a
mute you?
couple of months,
Yes.
I couldn't post. I couldn't post anything. I would post and it
Same.
was sitting in limbo. I don't know, man, what's going on with Twitter. It's weird.
It's
Blame Elon.
Yep, I was gonna say since he's come on board, he's kind of broken
But
something that wasn't broken, right?
Hmm.
And you're
Hmm.
funny because I would go through, because you know how we had the ratio thing where like if you didn't have 5,000 followers, you couldn't have more than 5,000 people you were following, right? So I
Hmm.
had to keep going through and like removing people that were like just whatever. And then I found out there's people that I had been following for years, and they've been following me, and then I stopped and I would message them like, "Hey man, what did I do? Is everything cool?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And
right.
they're
Hmm.
and then it's like, "Oh no, I never unfollowed you. I don't know what the hell happened here." And so you don't know what like what a logger
Yeah.
whatever they were doing in the back end
Yeah.
that was like screwing things up, and they took away that like stopping of follower limits. But you're right though, where like it just like I know for me when I had issues posting, it was my VPN. So I was using
Mm.
Oh,
ExpressVPN, and
yeah.
I was at home. So if you and for whatever reason, because that was on, nothing would post. It would just go in a queue and just
Oh,
sit
that's
there.
crazy.
Yeah, and so when I turned it
Huh.
off, it worked fine. And I
Yeah. I
was like,
don't
okay,
have a VPN. I
Interesting.
should get one, but I don't have a VPN at this point. So I can't. I don't know why it was doing it. And I had to ask Matt to post some things for me, and
oh
like I would
wow.
share the show, and it wasn't posted. I thought it was, and
Hmm.
yeah. Or
Yeah.
it would post like I'm calling it posting now. Ugh. It's just um,
She is not lying at all.
For those listening,
um,
Aaron mentioned in the comments, it's been 0 days since Twitter broke or didn't work.
yeah, yeah, exactly, Aaron. Okay, so shout out to your beautiful wife. When I don't know if you know the story. If you weren't watching from the beginning, you probably didn't hear this. But I used to hate football, and I didn't want to have the game on. I didn't want to hear about it. Anything. I'm from Wisconsin, not Green Bay, but it wasn't until many decades later, out here where I live now, where there's all these Packer transplants, basically,
Yeah.
got me to love the Packers, and then I just really started getting into it. And of course, now I just love football in general. I don't know what's wrong with me, but
Nothing.
so I'm with
Nothing
your
at
wife.
all.
I can understand both of your wives' perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it because I was that person too. Please, really.
Yeah.
And
No.
part of it was the violence too, but somehow I
Yeah.
managed to become numb to that.
Yeah.
That's the hard part
Okay.
about it for sure. Seeing people
Yeah.
get hurt, it's never great, even if it's like a player you don't like. If we're to see Ndamukong Suh get like, pummeled and fall to the ground, I'd still be like, oh no.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm the same way. Like I
Yeah.
look at a lot of these guys. Like maybe there's one or two people that I would be okay with, and I hate to say that, but it's true. Ndamukong would might have been up there just because of the dirty stuff that I feel like karma, right? Like I feel like a lot of karma with that guy. Him and Vontae Burfict. And the reason why I say Vontae Burfict is in 2014, he hit Ryan Taylor in the nuts. Ryan retaliated, got a penalty, was cut the next day, and guess who they elevated?
Who?
Brandon Bostic.
Oh, for real? Wow.
And if he would never gotten the penalty, he would have still been on the team. He would have been on kick return, on onside kick return for that play, and we would have went to Super Bowl. That's what I think.
Could be.
But
But it is worth saying let it be said that is not the only thing that went wrong in that game.
No.
You know, a lot of people put a lot of like real negative
Yeah,
into that
I'm
guy.
not about
So
all
like,
that. Yeah, no.
just it needs to be said. A lot of things went wrong for it to end that way.
15
But it
things.
is easy to.
15. I
It's
count.
notable.
There's an article on USA Today. It was like 15 things that went wrong in the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, that someone counted that just hurts so bad.
So bad. Ugh.
But no, it's just funny that you said that. Like, even when I see people get hurt for other teams, every time I always post prayer hands or whatever, because I always
Yeah.
feel bad because I'm always like, man, these guys like spent their whole life playing this game since they're babies, and then they go in the league, they finally make it, and then they tear their ACL, God knows what else, and it's like, it just sucks, man. I'm like, how would you feel like you worked your whole life to get to a point that like it's taken away from you for a year? Then who knows? It can maybe be taken away from you forever, and it's like. I feel for them, even if they're on whatever team, right? Like I don't even care. I just feel bad for that because like I was talking to somebody, it takes away from the game, right? It takes away from us experience that player, seeing them perform, seeing them do things with their body that we wish we could do, right?
Yeah.
I'm always at awe by these like athletes, by just their being physical specimens, and not just that, but they're all smart as hell too. And I don't know, I just love that.
I mean, it's like my job. It's go to my office, talk to a bunch of students, make some spreadsheets, answer a bunch of emails. I'm not putting myself in physical danger at all.
Exactly,
at all. And that's what these dudes are doing. You know, just going out there, just engaging in a sport that is gonna wind up them getting injured at some point. You know, inevitably, even if it's just a small thing. You know, for a lot of them, it's a lot more than a small thing. So yeah, that's the hard thing about it. It's the hard thing about watching football, being a football fan.
Yeah, it is. So Pappy has some comments here. I am drinking Stone Deliciosa at Stone Brewery from right here by where I live.
The IPA, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. For some reason, I thought you also lived in California.
I've been, so that's also my wife has a lot of family in Yuba City, near Sacramento, Bay Area. I had a cousin that used to live in Temecula. So yeah, so we've gone to California so many times, you know. So yeah, for like weddings and God knows what else, right?
Yeah.
So
you're probably visiting. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have? Okay, so before we get to our superlatives, we always love to ask, what is the one thing that you love the most about Packers or NFL Twitter or online community, and one thing that you would change if you had the power to change it?
Oh man. I think the one thing I do love about social media in general when it comes to like our world, like the Packer Twitter world, right? Like you have a very strong pocket of people that it's not about confirmation bias, but it's the fact that the love for the team, right? And then for the most part, like you can get into conversations with people and you may agree or disagree, and at least it stays there. Some people take it personally, some people got kind of crazy and start saying stuff they shouldn't say. But like for the most part, like, you know, you can get to a common ground where you're like, all right, well, like you think it this way, I think it this way. Well, let's see what happens and go from there. You know what I'm saying? And I love that about Packer Twitter for the most part. I want to say about maybe like 80% to 70% think that way, you know? And most of us do kind of like think along the same lines, but there are some people that have different opinions. And for the most part, they don't try to be too overbearing about it, you know? The one thing I hate about Packer Twitter or just Twitter in general is like just people that will come out and just say the most obscene and unnecessary things, and they always do it like, you know, like hidden behind a fake profile, and it just like what kills it is like those people, they're trolling accounts, right? You know, it's like they don't have very many people, or they have a good following and they're just horrible humans, and those experiences really drain you to the point it takes away from your good experiences, right? And you're like, and you gotta like block, and I hate blocking because it makes it seem like you're trying to run away from that situation, right? So I do a lot of mutings. I'm like, well, you don't know that I've muted you, but you just talk it off in the ether, right? And and you can just do that for all I care, you know what I'm saying? I learned that from Nagler because Nagler does that a lot. And I was like, he's actually smart about that. I was like, that makes sense. But like, yeah, like it's you like meeting people like you guys is one of the positive things of Twitter, right? And
likewise.
You look at like the people in Game of Wisconsin, Andy Herm, all the people that like
Mhm.
you've engaged with that are like pretty big deals in that space, and they are down with people like just you and I, right? The three of us, right? And I love that. And I just hate that we have those trolls that are out there that just can just really just take so much out of you when you don't really. It's just completely unnecessary,
Yeah.
And you just know they're like they just are not happy with whatever they have going on with themselves. They just want to make other people feel shame. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, there's one thing I love about this question. Why I'm so glad that Don always asks is because we always get a different answer with like a different sort of perspective and shade to it. And so the fact that you said, the trolls take away from like the enjoyment of being there is such a good point. Like I hadn't thought of it in like those terms, but it's like these individuals can like chip away at like the fun you're having in that space. But and kind of going along with something that Pappy said in the chat here. Pappy said it as if it's an educated fan base, they can have fun with the concept
Exactly.
of disagree.
Exactly.
Which, yeah, it's exactly what you're saying is, we can have discussions about differences of opinions in a civil and interesting and educated way, because I do feel like most of the, most of the fan base that I at least encounter on Twitter for the Packers, that is specifically, they know ball,
Yeah.
a lot of smart opinions, a lot of good takes. And maybe that's the corner of Packers Twitter that I live in, but it certainly seems to be the case on a regular basis. There's a lot of good takes and the room for that kind of thing. So yeah, I love that answer. Great answer, Amar. Love it.
Always a great
Thank you.
answer. Always a great
Thank
answer.
you.
Well, okay, so it is time for our weekly superlatives, and I will tell you in advance, I don't have any.
Okay, good. Me neither. I kept figuring.
I will carry it. I got it. I got you guys. All right.
Matt carries the S. I'm sorry. I think this is the first time maybe that I've ever not had any. I think I wrote some down and then I don't even remember where to find them right now.
Second time ever done, but that's a good record. So like no worries there. Now, I'm not keeping track or keeping score. I just remember there was one at the time where I was like,
I thought there was maybe one more.
But only one. Well, all right, then I'll launch into it. Okay. So this has been an awesome week because, this isn't one of my superlatives, just kind of talking about it for a second, like the week in content. Obviously, with the season starting, people are like kind of coming back online. It's like the lights are turning back on in some of the stores. You know what I mean? It's like things are coming to life because the off season. It's like living on it's like Block Island in Rhode Island, which if you're not familiar is kind of like a resort island to a degree, where it's like a vacation destination. But there are people who live there in the off season. There are people who are like running the the general store and like the garbage pickup and stuff like that. It's a skeleton crew of people who live on Block Island. But in the summer, it's lively and it's full of people and the beaches are happening and stores are open. So I feel like this is like the beginning of that sort of a thing. The lights are coming on in the stores. People are showing up. So in other words, like more of the sort of like seasonal content creators are starting to bring their stuff back up online and literally. And along with that, of course, comes like the new stores that open up. So you have like, Andy Herman's talking about like all the new things happening with what he's doing and with Pack a Day, with the new Friday crew that's coming in. So
that
shout
thing
out
was
to
crazy. That list he had was insane.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I was
shout
impressed.
out to Monty. Shout out to
yes, my boy. That's my boy,
Shanna
man.
Quinn, and who else is joining them? I'm suddenly blanking who the third person was.
Oh, I know you talk about. It wasn't Dusty. It was.
It'll come back to us.
Dude, I know. Yeah, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Was it Carmen? No, Carmen's doing something else with him.
That's right? No, it's going to be Nathan Marzian. That's what it is.
Nathan, that's it. Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be an amazing crew, and we're not losing the Friday crew. With Andrew Mertig, Kyle Fellows, and Megan Loney. They're moving to Monday, and Aaron had us in the chat there just a second too late, unfortunately, but of course she's very happy about Monty. They are co-hosts on. Let me just promote their show real quickly because I love it, on Last Call Lambo, and also Watching Stuff, both amazing shows that everyone should be watching. So much fun. But anyhow, really excited for Monty to be a Pack a Day contributor.
He's awesome, man.
He's awesome. Dude, he's awesome.
He's just good people. He's just good people in general, and then his knowledge of stuff is pretty awesome too. So it's like it just makes them. I was messaging him on the side. I DM'd him like, dude, man, I'm so proud of you. And I was hyped for him. I was really hyped for him.
So yeah, where that news dropped is part of a big thing where it's like, and also Andy's doing this, and Andy's doing this, and this stuff is happening. Yeah. So like that kind of excitement that comes with like the very beginning of the season in terms of like what's going to be coming to us for content. very exciting. So anyhow, the three things that I brought aren't having to do with that, but I'm just talking about like this is the context for it, the excitement I have around it. So my first superlative, these are all there's sort of like a mild thematic element in there. They're all best A. So best advice is the first one. This was an amazing exclusive interview that Bill Huber happened to score with Aaron Rodgers. The name of the article for sportsillustrated.com is Aaron Rodgers details advice to Jordan Love. And this was so cool because, we all have our qualms with Brett Favre, who should be in prison for a number of reasons, including the fact that he was a total douche to Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers was his backup and didn't do really much to help bring him along and help him develop and help him, prepare. It was the seemingly the exact opposite situation for the way how Aaron Rodgers treated Jordan Love. And, we have confirmation of that from various sources. So I think it's definitely, believable. And so definitely, we're thankful to Aaron Rodgers for doing that. He didn't have to, he did. That's wonderful. But anyhow, this interview was really cool because it was just like Aaron talking about, Jordan just needs to go, and be Jordan. And like, he knows that he's just going to go out there and be himself and play and do the best he can and not worry about all the, pressure that other people might perceive is on his shoulders because he knows he's going to go out there and do the best he can. And that's just a really quick summary because it was a good long, read and just really cool, completely unexpected. I think Bill didn't even know for sure that Aaron Rodgers was going to really get back to him or whatever. So the fact that this article, dropped midweek, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So if people haven't read that yet, highly recommend. And as always, Bill Huber, such a great writer, such a good dude. So highly recommend his stuff in general. Anyhow.
I love Bill, man. Bill's like, every time you hear the press conferences with him and the coaches, he's either the first or second person to ask a question, right? And then he'll ask a question that he always takes him 5 seconds to kind of gather his thoughts as he's doing it. Right? He's always like, oh, so and this, and then he takes a few seconds, right? And he gets it out. It's a good question, and then sometimes coach lately has been snippy as hell, right? Floor's been
very snippy, yeah.
He's been very much I don't have time for this. I don't want to deal with this. He has that kind of attitude, and you can just tell he's almost has that I'm over it. I'm over just having to. He wants to coach football. He wants to do that. He does not want to do that, and then he'll say something right to Bill, and then Bill's like, yeah, okay, well, I don't. He'll say almost like a smart ass response. To be like, I don't care, I need you to answer my question. And then Matt will just be like, you'll find out the injury report in 51 minutes. And it's all right, dog, all right, cool, I get it. You don't want to tell us you're worse than Gannon over there, aka Kendall Roy, about I don't want to tell you who the starting quarterback is going to be. It's bro, they're both backups. What are we doing right now? Seriously, come on, man.
Kendall Roy. I know, right?
Right?
That's what it makes me think of.
Dude, he looks just like him. He looks just like him.
I know.
Don, have you watched Succession?
No.
Oh, highly recommend. So good.
Please,
so good.
Please,
okay.
please.
Yeah,
please
but basically one of the main characters looks exactly like Shanahan. It's crazy.
Right.
Kind of talks like him.
Yeah. Okay.
He talks like him too.
Bananas. we don't know who's gonna be alive. If we'll be alive next week or whatever. That whole thing, that was
Don. You've never seen the two of these people in the same room. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say, dog. They're the exact same person.
There was somebody else that had a look-alike too. Who were we talking about this week? You know what I'm talking about?
I remember it on the damn podcast. Now I can't think of it.
It was the guy. It was the Patrick. Oh, I'll
Neil Harris.
Sorry.
No, wasn't Patrick Neil Harris, right? No, Neil Patrick Harris.
The guy. Oh. Okay, Matt, I'll look it up while Matt's checking.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll launch into my second superlative for the week. Another best analysis going out to our pal Dara Carragher. We need to get Dara on the show at some point.
Dara's awesome, bro.
Oh,
he is
so smart.
He knows so much. I learned him and Dusty. I always learn something new every single time, dude.
So Dara said he's going to be doing a series this season for PackerReport.com, talking about what is going to be sort of the weakness that the Packers can exploit in their opponent for that week. And he said the columns we called spoiler alert. So this was unfortunately a little not timely, but it was spoiler alert. Bears coverage scheme will allow Packers to take shots for Christian Watson. But still, despite the fact that Christian Watson he could play. Again,
Jordan thinks he's playing. Jordan's already talked about how he's going to take the first play to the house. So
Okay.
I don't know, bro. I'm just
There
saying.
it is. We're listening to him for this. But suffice to say, the level of analysis, because what he did is he looked at like the defensive tendencies of the Bears last season, and like, okay, it's last season, so things can change, whatever. But mostly the same squad, same defensive coordinator. So how much difference will there be? Because they did a lot, like almost a league high of cover 1 and cover 2, and the way in which they like try to build their defense to like clog the running lanes a lot. If you have somebody fast like Christian Watson can get around the back of that, should have just room to run, a lot of daylight. So the way how Dara explained all this was, of course, like super informative, easy to read, fun to read, easy to comprehend, which is typically, his writing style is very, very approachable, very informative. So, huge shout out to Dara for yet another common W for our guy. Amazing article. Did you guys all see that?
Dara has like not Dawn. I was gonna say Dawn too. Yeah, she's just doing her thing. She's researching here still, but Dara's
I'm
all his
trying
stuff,
to.
man.
Yeah.
They say you can't do two things at once. I just tried. You can't.
You can. You just don't do them well. I know for me, that's how it is at least.
I'm sorry. I didn't see that.
It was a good one. Would recommend. I mean, I have it,
but I will.
It'll be in the show notes as always.
It'll be in the show notes because that's how I get. Like I do go through our show notes if I haven't seen stuff, and I listen to Matt's recommendations. I don't know, Matt, do you do that with mine?
I do sometimes. Yeah, I'll go back to find the links. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So I got one more then. All right.
I love it. But before you go to another one, because I don't want to forget to say this, I loved your illustration leading up to your superlatives about the vacation town going dark during the off season, and then I love the whole thing that you walked us through. That illustration, it was fantastic.
Thank you.
I was really into that. I loved it.
Glad you liked it.
And it's Patrick Dempsey that somebody looks like Patrick. And the reason I had to look it up is because I don't watch television.
Is it Coach?
No. Okay, I'll continue to research. And I'll listen better this time. Okay.
Isn't Dempsey the main guy, right? Isn't he the main guy?
Patrick Dempsey was on some like doctor show, and I don't watch
Grey's Anatomy, but
Grey's Anatomy. That's
it.
McDreamy, right? Was he McDreamy?
McDreamy.
Yeah, was he McDreamy?
McDreamy. Yeah,
he's the dark-haired dude, right? Not the other guy.
A little salt and pepper now, but
Yep, he's getting.
What the hell does he look like?
Does he look like true?
No.
Oh, too much Persian in my boy. My boy got too much Persian inside him.
Yeah,
I can say that. I can say that because I'm kind of Persian too. So okay.
Sure. I think David Bakhtiari can fit in with like the Dothrakis, from
yes.
That's what he was just like that.
He literally would just need to go in the sun a little bit more. And get a little bit of a tan going, and that man would be literally like Khal Drogo, like Khal Drogo's son, the one that was supposed to take over the world. Like seriously.
Exactly.
I love Persian food. I just want to say I love Persian food. It's one of my favorites.
It's amazing. 100%.
All right. So on my third superlative, one more best awareness. This is going out to the Twitter account, packershistory.com, which of course is also a website, but like their Twitter account specifically. They wrote a Twitter thread that started with why it matters that Jordan Love is the Packers' first black starting quarterback to open a season, even if it doesn't matter to you. And obviously, I think we're all of the same mind that this is an important thing. I don't need to make the case for it for you and probably for a lot of our listeners. Yeah. But the thing that I liked about this thread, apart from like the obvious thing, like this is an important thing to talk about, is that the way in which they wrote it wasn't like, I'm gonna hit you over the head with like just straight up facts, like this is why it's important, stop being stupid, you idiot. It wasn't that. That was the tone at all. It's much more like I'm trying to like bring people who might not understand like what I'm saying like in. It was more like maybe gentle isn't exactly the right word, but it was good. It was bringing people in more, in the tone it had. And I thought did a good job of trying to like say I understand for these reasons why you might not think it's important, but like here's my counter argument, and like I hope you can see it that way, and like you might not, but like I do want you to consider it and think about like a lot of it was like think about what it's like for black people, for minorities, for anybody who doesn't have that kind of representation historically on the Packers, and took it like kept it focused to that in a way. It's kind of thing where like I would hope that at least a couple people out there would have read it and they could see the point, and that could bring them a little bit closer to like understanding like the bigger issues involved in something like this, because they're taking it to like a very specific thing, and that's trying to like, if it can move the needle a bit for those people, then that is an amazing difference that I don't have a name for the person that PackersHistory.com did with that thread. It was very well written. I was very impressed with it.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Yes.
Good, Don, go ahead.
Yes, I actually did read that one. I don't know where I've been all week. I feel like I just came to the show today and I was in some kind of a vacuum for the last 7 days. It's like
I can relate.
I did read something. I did see something about Patrick Dempsey. Like there's these random things that come to my mind.
Grabbing stuff.
I'm still looking about the Patrick Dempsey, and it was like really a remarkable resemblance. It might have nothing to do with football. It might be like something with my true crime. I'm not sure, so I apologize.
It's all good. I just think the article was amazing because I think that it's not a big deal to some people, but when you saw the commentary of some folks when they were hitting the article, it's like, all right, well, we clearly know what your philosophy is or what your perspective is on these things, right? So that's fine. But what I noticed was like, it just kind of just shows you where we were, not as a team or as an organization, but as a society for how many years, right? And how, like, when Vince Lombardi was like, right, like think about like when Vince was coming up, he was discriminated against for being an Italian American, right? And even though he was like, Caucasian, that they didn't look at him that way. He was looked down upon, right? And he made sure that, and then also he had a thing against homosexuality because his brother was gay. And he didn't want people to make commentary on that. So he was a very, very forward-thinking man for a person like, back in like the 50s and 60s, right? Yeah. And you see how our team was one of the first few teams to start incorporating people of color on the team. But it's taken this many years for us to actually have a person of color that's a quarterback. And it's not because of like any kind of like, it's not like it was intentionally done. It just worked out that way is the way I look at it, right? Because they had Sonic Walls. They've always brought in quarterbacks to compete and stuff like that. So it wasn't like they just went after Caucasian quarterbacks. That wasn't the case at all, I mean, what was it? Aaron, what was the guy's name? He was the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints back in the day. Aaron John, that's not it. Aaron Banks. No,
Banks. That sounds familiar.
I think it's something like that. And so he was a backup quarterback in Green Bay, and then he got traded to the Saints. I mean, they brought in Vince Young, they brought in Sonic Walls. They've always had quarterback Brent Hundley. They've always had people there. They've never had a starter.
Is it
Aaron Brooks? Aaron Brooks. Thank you.
Aaron Brooks.
I was almost there. But Aaron Brooks started out in Green Bay, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, and he was a starter in New Orleans for many years, So I don't know. I just think that I think it is a big deal, and I think that people have a problem with it because they've always had a problem with these kind of conversations. That's what it comes down to. I think.
Yeah. It also, I mean, the reason that black quarterbacks weren't elevated at the high school and college level either, so the pool is getting larger, which is really good to see.
They were athletes. They were athletes. They weren't quarterbacks,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
And then when they come out, they're like, oh, Nick Lamar Jackson should be a running back. And it's like, wait, what? Like, did you see him play at Louisville? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't think you know ball, Mr. Polian, if you're going to say stuff like that, dog. Right? And look, I'll be honest with you guys. When Justin Fields was coming out, biggest fan. I still am his biggest fan. I hate the fact that the Bears got him because I think he's an amazing talent. I thought he was better than Trevor Lawrence, and I know that's something you don't say, but I really did think he was coming out, and I was very upset that the Bears got him. And since then, I think he's an amazing player. I think he's going to be an amazing quarterback. He's still, and this whole I just get in on the throwing thing like the rest of us do just to piss off Bear fans. But deep down, I'm like, That boy can play, man. He's a good quarterback. He's a running back. None of that stuff. I don't just say that to piss people off, but at the end of the day, he is a bona fide quarterback. He's been playing quarterback since he was a baby, and I just think the sky's the limit for him. I really hope to God that they have a really shitty year this year, so then they trade him, and then he goes somewhere else, and I can really root for him.
I should root for him.
That's right. Yeah, because you don't want to be caught rooting for the Bears.
or the Lions. Yeah.
I know, I said that.
Yes. Or the lion. Thank you. Exactly.
That's why I said it.
I'm glad
Okay. I'm not. By the way, let's check in on the score. Do we know what's going on that game?
Yeah, the Lions are knocking on the door, try to potentially take the lead. It's 20-14. Kansas up, but the
they got 2
Lions,
field
it's like
goals.
2nd and 4, and they're on the 8-yard line. Oh, and they're about to punch it in. There it is. Okay, so touchdown for the Lions. So yeah, very close game. It's actually a really good game.
Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah.
It seems like. I like it. Look at that Dan Campbell. You just gotta love him.
Bite the kneecaps. Bite the kneecaps. It's funny he said that, and all of us are like, this dude's gonna get fired by week 3, right? And then he's like, come out and actually turn the team around, and I'm like, I'm actually mad that they got a good quarterback. I was like, what? Oh, yeah.
It's hard not to like him. I will admit for sure.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
All right.
Begrudgingly really like him a lot.
Well done, Maddie, with your superlatives. I love it.
Thank you. Glad you liked them. Yeah.
I do have some. I just don't know where they are. And by the way, no. I'm still trying to get through like 1 hour's worth of. Who knew Patrick Dempsey was still so popular? I didn't even know his name. So I'll have to get back on that. Turns out, I saw something about him looking like somebody, and I saw the side by side, and it's like I can't tell them apart at all. So now it's like, oh, he's in Europe. He's in Italy. It's like, I don't know. I don't care. I just want to get to that. It's like I'm scrolling. I've been scrolling this whole time. So I'm back. I give up.
Nice.
I give up. All right, Maddie. So any final thoughts before we say goodnight, guys? Amar?
No, let me go last. I want you guys to get your or am I supposed to go first?
Whatever you want, man. You're the guest. You get to choose.
All right.
It's almost last because we're just going to do our sign off.
Yeah.
Basically, right? Yeah. Look, so thank you for having me. This has been really good. Like, when I say really good, because that was a really bad way of saying that, but it's been really fun. And like, we just did this for like an hour and a half, and it didn't feel like an hour and a half at all. And I had so much fun with you guys. And I really would love to do this more often because I don't have anyone to talk football with, like, other than when I tweet you guys on like Twitter and stuff like that, you know, and I just get my engagement like that. But the truth is, like, you know, if I go down and tell my wife, hey, did you hear that, Joe Burrow just signed a mega deal? And she's like, who's Joe Burrow? Like, what?
Right.
Like, go away. Yep. You have Twitter friends for this. I'm like, that's a good thing. So so I'm telling you, like, I am so happy that you guys honored me with bringing me onto the show and just even asking about me. Like, you guys are amazing, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for coming on. We appreciate your time, and this has been just a ton of fun getting to know you better, you know, so I'm really glad that we were able to do this tonight. It's funny you're talking about like trying to talk football like at your wife, because that's my experience too. I'll be like, okay, can you just give me like 70 seconds to just like get some stuff, like spew some football at you, and she'll be like, yes, go ahead. You know, so when I'm like really excited about something, I'm just like, just kind of get it out, because I mean, that's a big part of why Don and I started this podcast, is so we could like talk football to each other, you know, and talk about the things that we love reading and watching and, you know, listening to, of course. So and I think our friend Erin makes a good point when she said in the chat here, sounds like you need to be a guest on Last Call Lambo. Yep.
You music to my ears. Just you let me know when.
Aaron.
That'd be a good episode.
That would be great. That would be great. To chop it up with Aaron, Sammy, and Monty. Oh my God,
man!
We could be on there for like 2 hours. It'd be no joke.
You know, Sam has officially left the show. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't know that.
I'm super sad.
Oh, I did know that.
I was so full of grief that I couldn't even write a a quote tweet about the show for that week. So, and if you're wondering why I never got around to that, I was like, man,
I do remember her like, I remember that in the actual, because I listen to podcasts where I go back and listen to it that way. I do remember that now. My brain is just, I'm not gonna lie, my brain's been fazzle dazzled for the last like week and a half. So yeah. But dang, okay, all right. But yeah, I would love that. But I was gonna show you guys a picture real quick. This is what was this? So me and my wife and so she says she's the bad luck charm to the Packers. And I told her she can't say this. So we started dating, and our first date was the week after the Packers won the Super Bowl. Okay.
Nice.
So
And
you
that's
were
all
on
she
a
wrote.
high.
Oh God, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was like, I got a date with a hot girl I met online. I'm like, oh my God, Packers won a Super Bowl. I'm like, you can't. I thought the world was the best thing ever. Okay, and this was the weekend. Because remember we went like 15-1, right? So she's like, "Oh, this is amazing! I'm dating this guy. His team's awesome. He's always happy." She had no idea what she was getting herself into, and so this is the weekend of the Packers Giants game where we won like 33-31, right? Where remember, because we barely beat them,
Mhm.
and so we're at Deep Creek. And she
Aw.
has she has a Victoria's Secret like Green Bay Packers sweatshirt on. I got my Woodson, I think, on that one, okay? And she was like all, being really supportive, And then we lost to the Giants, and then she started seeing
How it goes, how it really
how it
goes.
really goes. She's like, your team does so good, then they do bad. And I'm just like, yeah, that's a real simple way of saying it. That's more to it, but that's exactly what happened. So it's I had to show you guys that just to get like the fact that she really was supportive, and that she still is supportive.
Yeah.
But she ain't gonna listen to football. Now I'll tell you that right now. Except like when certain things happen, like if she's watched a game with me, and there's a really cool play, then she might give me a chance. That's about it, though.
Maybe when she's old and crusty like me, she'll get in.
Stop it.
There it is, Don.
No,
you did it. You fit it
no.
in just under the
Deadline.
Yeah, thank you. Before the bell. I can't think what I was trying to say there, but yeah.
No depreciating comments about ourselves. No, I do not allow this. No.
It's not. I don't consider that. I don't think that's a bad thing.
I'm just being honest, and no, I don't want to.
Don happens to be old.
I was filling out something this week. Some paperwork of some sort, and it said, "Are you disabled or elderly?" In parentheses, 62 years old or over. And I was like, I'm elderly. I'm elderly.
Oh God. No.
I'm elderly.
It just means discounts. That's all it means.
I can't remember
you know what?
But yeah.
Silver lining.
Yeah. I'm
silver
good
hair, silver lining. That's right.
I am so good with it. I
just dyed my beard so I can get rid of like some of the stress that's been caused by my children.
Should let it grow, man. No, I mean, be proud of those streaks, dude.
It was. You guys see my profile picture? It's like Santa Claus. Like I was like Pippi the Pew for a little bit. It was like this part right here, like one side of my chin. I'm like, yo, what is this? Like, am I a Dalmatian now? This is terrible. I don't know what's going on right now. It's ridiculous.
All of my grays are named after students that I've taught in the past. Actually, like there's a whole section of various Kyles over here, for example. So,
man.
various Kyles.
Just the whole Kyle section up there.
Kyle section.
So many Kyles.
Oh my God. Kyles and Summers, man. Kyles and Summers, man. That's what it is.
Okay, so anyhow, I was just gonna say real fast too before we get to the final sign off here is that I did mention that though it's a bummer that Sam Witch isn't on Let's Call Lambo, it's still gonna be awesome because Aaron and Monte are awesome, and also it means that Sam is gonna have more time to do more writing, which she's been doing for Acme Pack and Co. And it's been really, really good so far, which is no surprise. So kind of a bonus superlative, if you will, is Sam's killing it with the writing. So check out her stuff there.
She's awesome. She knows ball, man. She's awesome.
Yeah.
And one more last quick plug for Last Call Lambo. Actually, Aaron mentions here that they're gonna have Nagler on this week. Ooh.
Oh snap! All right, I can't. I gotta go on before Nagler because I can't fall behind him. That's just like that's Pack. If I'm Packer legend, he's like royalty, man. You can't do that. I need to be his introduction, then he can be the main act, right? You know?
Well, all right. So I'm gonna just thanks again, man. This was great. Don't even the last thoughts before I bring it home.
I have no thoughts in my head.
All right.
Why do you say it like that?
Well, On the very, very off chance that you're not already following our man here, you can find Amar on Twitter at AMAR3455.
Yes.
And friends, of course, you'll find links in our show description for everyone we mentioned, so please check it out. Also, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out. So if you're a subscriber and a football fan, or one or the other or whatever, we'd like if you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest star on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family. Please do that.
Please do that.
Most
Yes,
definitely.
Maddie, that's right, because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being fans of the most storied team in the NFL. We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod, and we look forward to seeing you next week on
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.